Let's continue.
Con
Let's go
una
on
aportación
with
de una mujer que ya
a woman
estuvo con nosotros
who
el
stayed
año
with
pasado.
us the last year.
Honovi
Honovi
nos encantó, nos
was
conquistó con
really charming,
su sonrisa, con
and
su carisma,
with her
con su
smile,
forma de ser.
with her charisma,
Y esa es la
and her
razón por la
personality. And this is the
que
reason
vuelve a
why
estar con nosotros en
she's
Barcelona.
with us
Es
again
fundadora
in Barcelona.
de Chai con el Cosmos y de Kaya
She
Dreaming
founded
Circle,
Dreaming Cycle,
conocida internacionalmente
and Chai,
como líder del
known
pensamiento,
as
como
leader
guía
of
y
thinking
escritora
and guide
del
and writer.
despertar. Es otra de esas canalizadores de la luz.
She
Y
canalizes
hoy va a
light,
mostrarnos, lo dice aquí en
and today
inglés,
she's going to show
cómo
you
convertirse
how to
en
become
embajador
an
por el
ambassador
contacto y la
for
revelación
contact and disclosure.
Miren, yo que llevo pues 30 y tantos
I'm,
años dentro
I've
del
been
fenómeno
about
ovni,
30 years
cuando
in the
algún
UFO
contactado,
world.
cuando algún
When
testigo,
somebody
cuando
is a
algún
witness
protagonista
or
de estas experiencias me pide ser
he has a
embajador de
contact, and they ask me
tengo
to
que
be
reconocer que me da cierto miedo.
an ambassador,
Pero
I'm a bit
si
scared.
todo es como nos lo plantea Honovi,
But
estoy
if
seguro de que
everything is
todos van a
like
apuntarse
Honovi explained,
de voluntarios.
I'm
Les
sure
pido un
we are
fuerte
gonna
aplauso
see a lot of
para
volunteers.
Honovi Strongdeer.
Please, a big clap.
No? Hello. Okay. Thank you for the charming introduction, brother. So, do I have your permission to ask you some questions throughout this presentation? See? Because I might get you to do some high fives and maybe jump out of your seat. Don't want you to fall asleep on me, okay? Is it a deal? Okay. So thank you so much for your presence and your attention. My name is Honovi Strongdeer, and I want to welcome you to my presentation, How to Become an Ambassador for ET Contact and Disclosure. You could say I am the new kid on the UFO block. Some people consider me a contactee, but not in the traditional sense. I find this word contactee a little bit strange, personally, because when you say contactee, you are putting the contact outside of yourself. And what I share and teach is all about going inside. Some of these beings can actually be dimensions of ourselves. So, let me ask you a question. How many people here are interested in making contact with our star families? Can you raise your hand for me? Mm-hmm. Good, I should hope so too. I would be worried if you did not. And how many people have had their own direct experiences with extraterrestrial or higher dimensional being? And this can look like meditation, astral travel, sightings. How many people do we have who are having contact with the interdimensional beings? Okay, not as many. But that's fine, there is still hope for everyone else, so don't worry. So, we have entered more fully into an era where cosmic consciousness has returned in awareness to our planet. And I say awareness because the extraterrestrial, the star being, has always been by our side, but our ability to perceive them has not. So humanity is waking up from a control system that is keeping it very locked into fear. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it seems like this world is driven by fear in many ways. And so these beings, they are assisting us in what I call a renaissance in consciousness. And have you guys noticed that there is something different happening on the planet? Can we have some hands up in the air? There is like a shift happening. Yes? Okay, good. Unless you have been hiding in Antarctica or in a cave or something like that, there is a big change happening on our planet. And so never before have we had so much opportunity to plant seeds about contacting the star beings within the hearts of humanity. And we're moving from a human model of reality to one that is universal and includes our star families. So we are going from self-denial, they don't exist, which is the dominant mainstream thinking, to self-acceptance. They are part of our family, an extension. And so this new era is encouraging us to take our place in a larger cosmic galactic community. Is anyone excited by that? To be part of a galactic community? Yeah, awesome. So I'd like you guys to, I would like you to give a high five to your neighbor and say, extraterrestrials are our family. In your own language. There you go. So, yes, it should be like that, huh? So the good news is that people are more interested and open to this topic of extraterrestrial contact like never before. The bad news is that many of you sitting here could be ambassadors for extraterrestrial contact. I hate to break it to you. Maybe that's why you were sitting here. There was a reason why you were drawn to be here. And so what that means to be an ambassador, it means to be seen and to step out of your comfort, to challenge what is normal in society. And what I will share with you this evening are 3 keys in becoming an ET ambassador. And if this work resonates with you, I will also share how you can receive more support from me, because that is what I do. It is what I do full time. I travel, I do workshop, and I do one-to-one sessions with people. So who has also noticed that there is an increase in contrast on our planet? And what that means is there's the dark is getting darker, the light is getting lighter. Can people feel? Yes, right? Yes, there's a contrast. And what's happening is we are going through a collective shadow process. We are purging. It's like we are being sick. We are getting rid of everything that does not serve us, everything that is not aligned with the new frequencies that are coming to our planet. It's like one big ayahuasca ceremony all around the world. Everyone being sick, everyone getting rid of the trauma, the emotion. Humanity has so much trauma collectively and individually. But what happens after you have been sick? You feel better, right? And so there's a reason why this darkness is surfacing all around the world. And also, have you noticed how people's mindset and hearts have shifted? It's good for us to acknowledge that we are for and support ET contact, because it is such a controversial topic. And some of us have been made to feel shame around discussing this topic, okay? maybe some of us have felt very isolated in society. So, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the presentation. And also, I wanted to ask, do we have any star seeds in here? You will know if you are one when I say this word. I got one hand in the wilderness there. Two. Awesome. Okay. A star seed, very quickly, is just someone who has a remembering beyond this physical world. They might have remembered that they lived somewhere else before they were born here on Earth. Maybe they have some remembering of living within an extraterrestrial civilization. I would say each one of you is a starseed, actually, but not everyone has the ability to remember. There's nothing special about people who are starseeds. They just have the ability to remember certain things, that's all. So many people are writing to me and they're telling me that they are having dreams that are full of extraterrestrial beings, children who look like a mixture of extraterrestrial and human, as well as having UFO sightings all around the world. The hybrid children is the name given to these beings that people are having dreams about. And my friend Bridget Nielsen talks about this topic in depth. And this is all happening, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. This is all happening to help prepare humanity for contact on a larger scale, which I believe is inevitable and will happen in our lifetime. In fact, the beings, I am in communication with beings, which I will discuss in the presentation. They are telling me that this is what we are preparing for, unification with our star families. Very exciting and incredible times we are living in right now. And so each of us is being called to be ambassadors and to help accelerate this process. And really, each of us has a responsibility. A responsibility means my ability to respond. And we must really inform the masses, educate them in a way that does not perpetuate fear. And this is what the disclosure and extraterrestrial movement is doing. Many people are very fearful about it. And the message is that we need to be more mature, and be more forgiving of others around us, especially those who have harmed others, and boldly step into this role of being contact ambassadors. And we must become what we want to experience in this world. So this is a little bit about my story and my initiation into multidimensional awareness. I'm a transformational coach. I help people get clear on why they are here, especially in this great time of awakening. I'm also a channel, a medicine woman, an ET ambassador, if you want to call it that. And ever since I was a young girl, I was always questioning our reality. People ask me, when did you wake up? But I came from a very spiritual family. So I don't really feel like I woke up in the traditional sense, because that I already had a very strong foundation. So my family is from India. I have a Native American name, and I live in Peru, and my Spanish is really bad. So I feel like I don't belong to one place. I feel like I'm belonging to many different cultures, a citizen of the world. And so I trained as a graphic designer and artist, which is very right brain, very creative, and this creativity has helped me to make peace with my contact experiences. If I was more in my analytical, logical, scientific mind, I don't think I would be having these experiences, and I don't think I could handle them either. So, thank God for art. So they contacted me in 2010 because I was in a relationship at the time with a teacher who teaches astral projection, which is quite convenient, not a coincidence. Nothing is happening by accident. And 2 weeks after meeting this man who teaches people how to leave their body, to leave their physical body, and to use an energy body to astral travel, that's when I started to have out-of-body experiences and lucid dreams. But I had no idea what was happening to me at the time. I was very alone and very afraid. And at the time, I relocated to Singapore, and I would sleep with the light on, because when I turned the light off, I could hear many things, voices, sounds. I became very open, and I did not know how to handle my experience. And I didn't have many people I could turn to. I did not have a teacher who could guide me, because many teachers are not always having these kinds of experiences. In fact, some teachers I met, they told me I was, crazy, or they said, don't pay attention to that, which was not helpful for me at all. So, at the same time, I was having a relationship with this man who was teaching the out-of-body travel, and we went through a breakup, and I was very heartbroken, because this teacher, he had helped me to feel safe and understand my experience. And overnight, I lost everything. I was living in London. I lost my job as a graphic designer. My relationship ended. I lost my apartment. And I had to move back home to live with my parents. So you can imagine how hard that was. What I did was I moved to China to escape the pain I was going through, and I began to study an ancient art form called Qigong. Qigong is similar to Tai Chi. It's working with your body, with meditation, with energy. And I returned to the UK from finishing my course in China. I became a certified teacher of Qigong, and I started to teach Qigong in hospitals. In China, Qigong is considered science. Unfortunately, in the Western countries, it's not seen like that, but the attitude is shifting. And so my lowest point was when I was living in London and I was sharing a bedroom with 4 other people in a shoebox-sized room. But I didn't give up, and I want each of you to know that things can get better, and they will get better, but you have to focus your attention on what it is that you want. So I started to follow my excitement. I started to research the extraterrestrial, out-of-body, lucid dreaming topics. And I became a mentor. I started to teach. I became the mentor that I never had as a young person. I started to give workshops and to give talks. And I had many teachers tell me, you can't talk about that topic. You can't talk about extraterrestrial or multidimensional awareness. And I told them, just watch me. And so I didn't listen to them. And it's really important for each of you here to be very strong in what is true for you, and to not listen to those voices that might doubt your experiences. Because here I am on stage at the Ufology World Congress. And I actually speak now in different parts of the world and travel and do what I love. So to be an ambassador is to be a representative of something, to build bridges and to be a liaison. These days I'm living in amazing Peru with my soulmate, my partner. And Machu Picchu is our next door neighbor. We are doing our first retreat, which is about making contact with the star being. And I will tell you about it towards the end. But I guess I should move a little bit faster. So this is about interest in contact worldwide increasing exponentially. This was the first ever global survey into extraterrestrial life by Glocalities, conducted in 24 countries by, and over 26,000 people responded. It was the largest poll of its kind with a very global reach. The interviews were conducted in 15 languages between December, I think, 2015 and February 2016. And you can see here, there's definitely a lot of people that believe in extraterrestrial contact. 61% responded yes when they were asked if they believe in some kind of life on other planet. And so it's really important to remember that if you believe in extraterrestrial or if you are having contact, you are not alone. But because this topic is so controversial, many people do not speak openly about it because they are very afraid, because people maybe will laugh at them or all the other things that happen. Very interestingly, Russians, Mexicans, and Chinese are more likely to believe in extraterrestrial life than Americans, which I find very shocking, actually, because many of the contact experiences are happening in, well, it seems like everyone is being abducted in America, to me, right? Holland, Indonesia, and Turkey were the least likely to believe in extraterrestrials, which is very fascinating. So it's important to remember that this topic will remain controversial as long as people like you and me don't come forward and start sharing about it. So when we are talking about contact, it's really a shift in perception, a shift in perspective, and also a paradigm shift. So at the moment, the area of ufology is focusing really exclusively on data and evidence. But the message that I am receiving from these beings who tell me they are from the star Sirius is that we need to balance the evidence and the data with spiritual and subjective experience. And so it's also important to remember when we are looking only for the evidence, for the proof, sometimes we can miss it, even though it's right underneath our nose. I always say we can always find the evidence for what we believe in, no matter what. So a higher consciousness is coming to our planet. Cannot see my slide here, I turn. And it's this higher consciousness, it is not based on fear at all. But humanity is so used to operating from a fear-based system, okay? This new frequency that is coming to the planet is about recognizing yourself in another. No matter who that person is or what they have done, seeing yourself in that person, embracing them as your brother or sister. But we are taught in society to keep people separate. You are over here and I am over here. It's important to know that fear, it cannot harm you unless you allow it. It is just a frequency that is moving through your field. If you feel fear, I invite you to expand your energy instead of contracting to try to protect yourself, which is how most humans are taught. So when we are feeling fear, I invite you to expand even more and get even bigger. When you do that, you elevate yourself into higher frequencies that protect you, actually. So it's a reverse kind of thinking. This image here is very appropriate. The star being said to me, we are like children trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. They say that we are looking in the wrong places and we need to open our mind and heart, that we are living in a multi-dimensional universe, not just physical. When we look at the world from multi-dimensional, everything changes and many things begin to make sense to us. So we are still using tools from the physical world to understand a multi-dimensional universe. Not going to happen. Does not work. So, to know the truth, one must face it without dogma or beliefs. And I want you to know that dogma exists in every field, in every subject. Dogma exists in science, and dogma exists in spirituality. Okay? It's important to know that. And we have to get very clear and present, what is my filter? What is my opinion? And how can I become more like a blank slate, like a white piece of paper, so that I can receive the information that is appropriate for me? Of course, the wonderful E-Light, my sister, she was sharing light language earlier, and I'm a channel for light language. It is a non-linear, ancient inner technology and form of communication. This is some of my drawing at the bottom. It communicates and connects through light and frequency and vibration. This light language is an indication that we are moving into higher frequencies and that we are being encouraged to not only use the intellect, which I love, but also to use our creative, intuitive heart capacity. I first started to speak this language in my dreams and when I would astral project. But astral projection is the same as having an out-of-body experience. I had no understanding what this language was. All I knew was sometimes in my dream I would speak it. And during an ayahuasca ceremony, I received a very big opening. Ayahuasca is a medicinal brew from South America that helps people to go into altered states of consciousness, into high states of consciousness. And these beings said, We are from Sirius. We are returning. The hybrid children are coming. And I was very shocked. It's funny, when they communicate, when they speak through me, it sounds like music. They are very sound, vibration, light, coordinated. They place great emphasis on the hybrid children, which are a mixture of extraterrestrial and human, to return to our planet, to build bridges of unification. I know for some people this might seem a little bit crazy or out there. We are all on different points of our journey, but I just invite you to open your heart and mind to the information I am sharing. I can only share this information with you from my heart, and I am not here to try to convince you. And this too is an old paradigm where we try to convince people or try to make someone wrong. We do not have to do that. We can share, everyone can share their perspective and what is true for them. This is some light language I did for a client. I have clients in different parts of the world. And this man was getting psychically attacked by what we call lower energy forms. And this piece of work was serving as a kind of activation, connecting him with his own power and ability to handle what was happening. This second piece was also, when I did it, I received a download, a message, and they said it was about fully participating in life like all of nature does, not to be neutral, not to be a bystander watching from your seat, but to be fully present and engaging in life. They told me, when we are indifferent, we give up our free will, which is very interesting. This is, I am an artist too, which I find helps. When you are an artist or creative, it's much easier to accept these frequencies, this channeling, be open to it. This is what I have found in my experience. And this was the same client as the first picture. He was being attacked, and I created what I call a multidimensional energetic grid system that was going to help him reconnect with his own power. So I do commissioned pieces of artwork for clients, and if anyone is interested in a unique piece made especially for you, I will give you some my website that you can look at and sign up for that. Normally, I require a picture of your eyes, so I can see your eyes very clear. This is the color that is added. So the first is black and white, and then it goes into color. This man was very connected with energies, past life energies from Egypt. This is what I received when I was doing this piece. And you can see the writing. It almost looks like Asian or Chinese or something. There seem like to be two different kinds of writing. I don't always know what they mean, and the first question people ask me is, what does it mean? What does it mean? But they told me not to focus on what does it mean, but really just to feel into your heart, what does it mean for me? So disclosure is about disclosing, sharing information. We cannot wait for the governments to disclose extraterrestrial beings' presence. It's not going to happen. This disclosure has to begin and end with ourselves. We have to disclose, share with people who we are, what we are passionate about, not be afraid to be seen in our full radiance. And so the extraterrestrial and disclosure movement can be very fear-based, which can perpetuate anxiety, and many people feel like they get stuck in that. So it's a very delicate balance of sharing with people what is happening, but not doing it in such a way that it's going to create even more fear. And yes, it can be difficult because most people can become very afraid when we start to explore this topic. It's important for people to understand what's happening on our planet right now. Things are falling apart so that they can fall together better. There is something called the study of somatics. It's where sound and vibration can be seen visually. Maybe some of you have seen someone is creating a sound, and they put some sand or water on top of a plate. They put the sound underneath, and the water begins to rearrange and make patterns, and the sand begins to make patterns. This is what's happening on our planet right now. These new frequencies are coming, and everything is being rearranged. So we are being prepared to become ambassadors of contact and disclosure. First, it's important to build a stable foundation from which you can launch. Otherwise, your energy can become very ungrounded, okay? And so contact is about expanding your reality and your vibration to a point where you begin to see what has always been here. Now, how many people are familiar with this term, multidimensional reality? Can I see some hands? Okay, a few people. So this is a model of multidimensional reality which can help you understand a little bit better what I'm talking about, okay? You can see on the outside, there is what we would refer to as the physical world. It's not here, it's on the outside. In a multidimensional model of reality, there's many layers to reality. Not just one, like we are taught in the Western world, okay? So this outside is our physical world here. And then we start going inward. Now, when I talk about out-of-body experience, it is a misleading term. We are not going out of body. Our consciousness is moving inside, like this model, moving inside, okay? This layer is a duplication of the first layer that we are all on right now, this physical world. If we all went out of our body right now, most people would be here. They are conditioned, they are programmed to be addicted to this physical world, so they would be here. Some people, they might go further, deeper, depending on their soul, depending on their consciousness. We have things like dreams happening even deeper. We have things like heaven and hell existing on this level here. Then we go more deeper. We have ascended masters like Yeshua, Buddha, Saint Germain, and all the other masters. We have star beings, extraterrestrials. Now, it's important to know that extraterrestrials and angels, so star beings is a star being is another word for extraterrestrial. These two words can be the same thing, okay? So what you thought in the past was an angel could be extraterrestrial. What you thought was extraterrestrial can be angel. They're very interchangeable. They're connected. So I'm going to, I know I'm limited for time, so I'm going to go ahead a little bit. So what does it look like to be an ambassador for ET contact? To be an ambassador is to build bridges and to be a representative, okay? So each of us is being encouraged to be a representative, an ambassador in our own unique way. It's not necessary to channel extraterrestrials. Actually, it doesn't matter. You can be an ambassador anyway. Because these beings, they are looking for people who are living passionate, exciting lives. I have met people who channel, but they are not really here, you know? I'm sure you have met people like that too. We meet people who are spiritual, but they are trying to escape, you know? They're not fully present. So I'm challenging you to reconsider what you see as an ambassador, because we can all be ambassadors here in this room right now. And so the message really from these beings is to focus more on the consciousness and spiritual aspects, not just the information and the evidence. And so I thought we would talk a little bit about how not to become an ambassador, because that can be important too. So we don't want to make people wrong because their belief is different to our own. Also, it's important to follow your passion and your excitement, to get clear on your purpose. That's going to help you build a foundation for contact with these beings. Feeling fearful is not going to help you become an ambassador. We all feel fear, but you know, I encourage you to feel the fear and to do it anyway. That's how we overcome our fear, when we make friends with it, when we come into relationship with it. And the last thing is, being a contact ambassador, it's not about it trying to escape the planet. Many of us, we heard a call go out to the universe that this planet was in trouble. And so many of us incarnated here on this earth. Some of us have more remembering than others about this mission and why we are here. So here are some keys that will help you to become ET ambassadors. Now, raise your hand if you have come out of the cosmic closet. You've come out to people that you are interested in extraterrestrial. Oh, not so many. We need more hands. Okay. So, you know, the first key is being seen and sharing your experiences with others, disclosing to others who and what you are, what you stand for, making getting clear on your purpose a priority, placing emphasis on mindfulness. Another key to get clear is to get clear on your purpose, and I call it your soul's blueprint. Each person has a blueprint, an archetype. They might be a coach, a healer, a visionary, an entrepreneur, an artist, a builder. And so it's important to create structures that support you in living into that archetype and living from that blueprint. And remember that the clarity is coming when we take action, not when we are just thinking about something. The last key is what I call embodiment, where what you say and how you feel and what you are doing are all aligning together. And it's about anchoring the knowledge in your mind, in your body, in your heart, because we all get very high from these spiritual ideas and from these amazing information, but it's very important to act on that information. And really, we are here to unify science together with spirituality. They don't have to be separate. So, when spirituality is only about love and light, it can become escapism, okay? And what I mean by that is that some people will meditate to medicate themselves, to try to escape the feeling of loneliness, the feeling of pain, right? And so many people, they are like moths to the flame. They only want to go to the light. In my experience, these people have many problems and many inconsistencies in their field of energy, and they are very ungrounded. It's very important to realize that each of us also has a shadow. The shadow is the part of you that you have labeled wrong or disgusting, and then you project that onto others. And so it's a delicate balance because, for instance, I like to use this analogy of a butterfly. A butterfly is designed to be beautiful, to be bold, to fly, to show its colors and its true expression, and not feel shame for doing that. Because many people are hiding their true color, their true passion, their true excitement, right? And so in nature, there is a symbiosis. When each part of nature is playing its part, everything in the ecosystem is growing, is flourishing. And when something is not playing its part, the whole system is affected. And this is similar for humans too. So this is some further information. I do one-to-one sessions about 3 keys on getting clear to what your purpose and soul blueprint is. I have some spaces available, 8, and normally it's costing $97, but I am doing these sessions free. I have 8 spaces. And what I do with people is I help them get clear on their purpose, on their blueprint and their archetype. Why am I here? For what reason? There must be more to this life. I'm sure you have asked yourself this question. Most of our suffering and challenge is happening when we are disconnected from this archetype. And so I am doing my first retreat in Peru. This is the retreat center here. It begins in March 2019. It is at the City of Light, and it's 10 days. We are visiting ancient sacred sites to make contact with the star beings. In Peru, I have many sightings all the time. In my back garden, you can see the Milky Way. You can see so many stars. It's amazing. we are going to make contact through meditation. This is a process that a few other teachers are already doing around the world. And we are going to help you build a foundation so that you can get aligned with your purpose and message and make a contribution in these exciting times. And also my partner, he is a vegan chef, and he is going to teach about healing foods, and we are going to do a ceremony with ayahuasca. These are pictures of where I live and the retreat center. This, of course, is Machu Picchu. This is the retreat center. This is inside. It's very, very beautiful. This is my home. I think my home is somewhere there. It's very beautiful, very, very beautiful where I live. I'm very blessed to live in Peru. Has anyone been to Peru here? Yeah, okay. Lucky you, huh? And these are the retreat facilitators. Roberto Arroyo, he's from Mexico. He's my partner. He is a vegan chef and a cryptocurrency expert. There is me, of course, Honovi Strongdeer. I'm a coach and ET ambassador. And Monet is a new addition to our team. He's a meditation teacher and a hiking guide. And together, we are creating this retreat. We might also have other people joining us. As far as I know, there's nothing like this retreat in the whole world. We are bringing together very unique components. It is about contact with extraterrestrials, but it's also about expanding our consciousness and how we can live the best version of ourselves. This is my website. My friend created this cartoon of me. It's Chai with the Cosmos. This is all my contact information. There will be a form outside where you can write your name and your email address if you are interested to receive more information about the retreat, about working with me one-to-one, the artwork that I do, or any other questions that you have. And I think that's it for now. Thank you.
Hola.
Hello.
I have a question for you. Two questions.
Yes.
Tengo dos preguntas. I have two questions.
Steve, give you the information. Have a name or
Can you say again?
which one is the ET, XT? Who is his name?
Oh, yes.
And the other one is and about
Someone translate.
insiste nel pianeta. Pollution. Yeah, pollution.
Yes.
Pollution on the planet. And I ask, what did they tell you?
Okay.
You say you have a contact. What they say to you?
Okay, to answer your first question, the beings I'm in contact with are from the star Sirius. They are very high density beings, so we are talking about 8th through to 12th dimensional. Most beings that are having contact are maybe 5th through to 8th dimensional. What you have to remember, each density is a completely different way of being, okay? So when we are asking questions like, well, why is President Trump in power? Because we don't like him, or what is happening with the pollution? If you ask a very high density being this question, they might not answer because they are in a completely different level of consciousness. That does not concern them. the being that I am in contact with, they talk a completely different language. Their communication is completely different. We have to open our mind and heart, not be so ignorant to think that the extraterrestrial will come and shake our hand and be like, hello, how are you, you know? The question about the pollution, our planet is being watched very carefully by many high vibrational beings. They are not going to let the planet explode or whatever, because that's going to affect not only humanity, but many other life forms, and they are coming to intervene. So, you know, they're trying to help us wake up. They don't want to do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves. Anyone else have a question?
Allí al fondo también tenemos... Sí,
Yes.
por favor.
Hello, my name is Manuel. First off, thank you very much, Honovi, for your presentation. I've got actually two questions. The first is, I would like to know whether the star beings have told you why they are here, if they have got an agenda. And my second question is, how did you came to the conclusion that the extraterrestrials and the angels are to be seen as synonyms, are the same? Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat the first question again?
Yeah, sure. The first question was why they want to help us.
What's their agenda?
Yes,
okay.
What's their agenda?
Okay, so for the most part, you know, the thing is, when we are using this word extraterrestrial, we have to be very careful, because extraterrestrial does not represent all of life in the universe, you know? Just like humanity, there is so many different kinds of human. So when we are talking about extraterrestrial, you have to get specific which kind. There's so many. There's infinite kind. There's different frequency, different, you know. But for the most part, to answer your question, I can only speak from my experience. Their agenda is to expand consciousness. That is what they are interested in, the expansion of consciousness, and to bring the return of what they call unity consciousness. Because in our world, we are living in a very separated kind of consciousness. And the second part of your question?
Yes, the second part of the question was, how did you come to the conclusion that
The angels and the extraterrestrials
are the same or synonyms?
Well, they're both very high frequency, and the way to think about it, in the past, in history, there was no context to understand these experiences, and so people would say, oh, it was an angel, oh, it was a god, you know, and that is what their reference point was in that time in history, you know. And so these beings are very clever. Many times they can take on the form of your own beliefs. So if you believe in Jesus, they can appear to you as Jesus. And they don't do it in a bad way. They do it to help you, because maybe you might be frightened if they show a different form to you, you know. So they work with you for the most part. There are many different beings. Some of them are not so pleasant, shall we say. But for the most part, they are here to assist us in this shift in consciousness that's happening around the world.
The next question.
Hi. From your experience, do you think there's something similar to a food chain, but in terms of these beings that they feed off us energetically?
Yes. There's a certain system that has been created in the world where people are motivated by fear, and there are beings that feed off of that fear, So I would really encourage you all to expand beyond your fear, you know, and also know that, yeah, it might seem like it's scary, but these beings, their days are numbered. They can only be so long here on this planet because the frequencies are going so high and so many light beings are coming to help us. So it's knowing that everything is playing a role, everything is playing its part. The darkness is serving the light and the light is serving the darkness. They are not against one another. It's a different way. You have to shift your perspective, how you are viewing things. So right now, I don't know how many people in this audience are having intense experiences. You know, I'm having very intense experience just being here in Barcelona, leaving my body and receiving downloads, and this never used to happen to me. It started to increase in the last year or two.
Next question.
Pensando en qué puede ser.
Thinking about what can be different now compared to the world 20 years ago, the most obvious thing is internet, because it breaks with the monopoly of the political power about information we receive. It's breaking with the currencies, because cryptocurrencies are appearing. And so my question is, this historical moment is really special. Will it be possible to communicate with human beings without this communication being controlled by the elite?
Yes, my brother. Anything is possible. It's only the limitation that we are placing on ourselves. Humanity is being encouraged to remember its power, its potential to create new agreements. We all have created agreements in the world that we live. We have contributed, and we contribute to those agreements every day, in the papers that we read, in the food that we eat, in the conversations that we have. And we can make new agreements, like coming to conferences like this and talking very openly with people whilst being very grounded. I'm a very grounded person, if you did not notice. When people meet me, they can sometimes be surprised because, you know, I am here, I'm normal. Yes, I have contact with interdimensional beings, but it's important for us to know that something can only have power over you insofar that you are giving your power to that thing. And so we all have to be working together to create a new reality. And we have a lot of help right now. I can reassure you, a lot.
Give me a minute for me. Le pido que me regale para mí un minuto, porque ¿de verdad crees que...
You really think that internet is freedom? 15 years ago, with Santiago Camacho, from the program for Millennium, we were talking together, and we were talking about Google. Who is behind Google, and how an algorithm can state that what you like, it was really your interest or not. You don't access all the information. You access an information that the management behind Google or Facebook is deciding what you have to see. This is alienation.
I would like to add to that. Everything is neutral until we give it meaning. So we can see Facebook as something that is alienating, or we can also see Facebook as a platform to share consciousness, which is what I use it for. But I also see your point, but it's just knowing there's not one perspective, there's so many, and we get to decide which perspective we want to express.
Sí, pero
Yes, but the level of likability is what Zuckerberg decides. If you will not be suitable for the system, you will not be a priority for the algorithm which is sharing your messages.
Yes.
the next question.
They're tired of questions now.
Bueno, pues thank you very much.
Thanks.